So, last night I tried to do a thing. I tried to continue my horror movie thing from last year, where I watch a movie from a set challenge and then I go live and talk about it on Facebook. Unfortunately, Facebook Live had other ideas, which was to make the video completely glitchy and unwatchable. So, like, even if you try to watch it, you can't understand a word I'm saying. Might not be totally bad, but I make these things for a reason. Even if nobody watches these videos, I'm really just doing this for me. This is something I like to do. I like to watch movies and talk about them after. So, yeah, even if nobody else watches, at least I'm doing something I enjoy. So that's a win. Got that going for me, which is nice. Anywho, yeah, if you were one of the people who tuned in last night, I'm sorry you had to see that train wreck, but I am grateful still that you decided to click on it. But going forward, I'm probably just going to do this, just do a recording, and then upload it, can't talk today, upload the video after. Not as fun as live, but what can you do when your technology sucks? You gotta just work with what you got. So anyway, last night I watched the movie Get Out, because the challenge was to watch a movie from this decade. Yeah, I know this isn't the 2010s anymore, but the challenge was written then, and also there's just not really any 2020s horror movies I felt like watching. So I watched Get Out again. I've seen it a few times, and I still really enjoy it. And unfortunately, to discuss it, I do need to go into spoilers. So just to give a quick spoiler-free statement on the movie, I enjoy it. It's not particularly scary per se, but it's very entertaining, very very thrilling, very dark, disturbing, but also very funny in several parts. Kind of like a Key and Peele sketch, can be both disturbing and funny. Sometimes in the same scene, and yeah, I really enjoy watching it. It's got a lot of rewatch value. 4.5 out of 5. Now to get into the details, it's about this guy Chris. He's black. He's dating this rich white girl Rose, and she wants to take him to meet her family. And at first, it looks like it's just kind of a modern update on the guess who's coming to dinner kind of situation, but it's a little more messed up than that. Turns out that her family is like the head of this ring that like takes black brains and puts them in the bodies of their old white friends who want to be more athletic or strong or cool, or in one guy's case, he just wants the guy's eyes. He doesn't care that the guy's black. He just wants to be able to see because he's an art dealer, and sight is a little bit important for that. And so it's up to Chris to put the pieces together and get out of there. And yeah, many things happen. What I like about the movie is like a lot of the social commentary is really obvious. But, there are a lot of little subtle touches in there that you may not notice the first time. Like, you got the white people, the old white people who come to the house to bid on Chris. They're all driving black cars, just like, they want to drive black bodies. The dad mentions, we keep a piece of my mother in here, and then he does, it's because she's, her brain is now inside of, lost my train of thought. The maid that they have there. And did I say earlier they want to put black brains in white bodies? It's the other way. White brains, black bodies, because the person looks like regular run-of-the-mill black person, but they're actually being controlled by these old white people. Yeah, take from that what you will. I'm sure Jordan Peele intended it that way. And there's a weird scene where the daughter, the girlfriend, Rose, she's eating dry Fruit Loops, and then drinking milk once she eats them, like, I guess separating the whites from the colors. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Probably was. I could see Appeal doing something like that. Um, But as far as movies about race go, I think this is honestly the one Hollywood has been needing to make. And Jordan Peele was just the guy with the balls to do it, because, you know, any other movie like this, you know, the white characters, the villains, they'd be your typical, you know, rednecks or skinheads, you know, like, we hate you, get out of our country, all that jazz. But yeah, this is the first one I've seen where, you know, you've got the white liberals who think they're really progressive, but like, they just really patronize and condescend Chris whenever they talk to him. Like, they literally can't help themselves. Like, they're so desperate to prove to him that they're not racist, even though he didn't ask. Like, you know, they say, like, you know, I would have voted for Obama a third term, or, you know, I love Tiger Woods, just all this random shit. Like, you know, Chris probably doesn't care how you feel about those things, and, you know, you're just rubbing his skin color in his face. Like, you're really not being any better than those who are hateful about it right now. And of course, these people, you know, they're patronizing him, but also setting him up to be essentially a slave. I mean, you know, typically white progressive hypocrisy isn't usually intending anything that extreme, but, you know, I think there is something to be critiqued about, you know, patronizing them and trying to, you know, whether you mean to or not, you're still trying to keep them in their place by, you know, acting all polite and everything, and, you know, trying to make them feel like, you know, they need that from you. Like, I'm sure, like, if you just talk to this guy like a regular person, like, you know, just talk to him like a person, not like a black guy, I'm sure he'll be fine with that. I'm sure he would prefer that, and instead of you guys just making it awkward all the time. Like, that's about as awkward as a white guy trying to critique the racial elements of Get Out. Anywho, but even if you don't care about any of the racial politics in there, like, I think this still can be enjoyed, which I think is the mark of a good movie. Like, it says something, but even if you don't pick that up or care about it, you can still enjoy it. It's a very entertaining movie. It's actually very funny in several parts. Like, either there are some scenes that are comedic, but there are some scenes where you just kind of have nervous laughter. Sometimes the same scene, and the funniest character in the movie is Chris's friend, Rod. He's a TSA guy, and usually whenever a horror movie has, like, the comedic relief sidekick in there, it tends to be really annoying and just doesn't fit the movie. I think this is one of those times where it works. Like, his kind of humor in his scenes it just feels organic to the movie, because it's, you know, it's not totally a horror movie. It's also very much a dark comedy, and yeah, very dark. It does get gruesome. Beware. And yeah, and this guy even ends up being important to the plot at the end. And yeah, I like that scene. Yeah, I understand. There was an alternate scene where at the end, where after Chris escapes and kills everybody, he gets arrested, and because who would believe that story? You know, these guys were trying to brainwash me to, you know, as Rod said, to be a sex slave and shit. Like, that wasn't what they were intending for Chris, but I can kind of see it going that way for some of the others. But they just decided to have a more, you know, lighthearted ending at the end, and, you know, Chris seeing the police lights and thinking he's screwed is probably effective enough to get the point across without having to go all the way with a depressing ending, even if it would be more realistic, arguably. I really like the performances in this. Daniel Kaluuya was up for an Oscar. He deserved it. Don't know if he was the best that year, but he was really good in this. Made people know who he is. like the parents, Bradley Whitford and Catherine Keener. They're appropriately nice when they're pretending to be, and creepy when the gloves come off, so to speak. And I like Lakeith Stanfield in his brief role here, but he really makes it count. Probably the scariest performance for me is Allison Williams as Rose, the girlfriend. She just, throughout the whole thing, like, even if you suspect that her parents are up to no good, like, you wanna believe that she's at least on Chris's side. Like, she's totally with him while they're making awkward comments and everything, and trying to apologize for them and all that stuff. But yeah, but then at the end, we discover, she's been in on it all along. Not only that, but she really doesn't feel anything. Like, every emotion she's ever shown pretty much is just an act. Like, when she's on the phone talking to Rod, who's trying to find out what's going on with Chris, her face is just a complete blank slate. Just completely and totally emotionless. But she's still able to fake emotion in her voice while talking to him. And so, like, I don't know, that's just really scary. Like, this woman apparently feels absolutely nothing, but she can manipulate you into thinking that she's pretty much whatever she wants you to think she is, which is really scary. And we see from photographs that she's done this with a few other black guys, lured them in so that her parents can do God knows what with them. And we even see she did it with a black woman at one point, which, to be perfectly honest, I think I'd be interested to know what happened when that was going on, because we see the awkward conversations that go on with Rose and having a black boyfriend, but I'd be interested to know what kind of extra layer of awkwardness was brought to the conversation when she's not only with a black person, but apparently in a lesbian relationship. I'd really like to know what the old white people would have said in that scene. But anyway, yeah, all that to say, I really like the movie. I think it's really smart. It's got a lot of good commentary in there. Very, very suspenseful, very funny. And yeah, just check it out if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see what I watch next.